Hi and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we'll be discussing the most important rule applied by visa officers at the American Embassy when they decide whether to give you a student visa or to refuse your application. This rule is 214B, and in today's video, we will understand 214B completely. First, let's understand what 214B is. 214B is part of the INA. The INA is part of the American Constitution. It is a part of the American Constitution, an act that basically contains all the rules for immigrating to America and becoming a naturalized American. 214B is the bedrock of all visa decisions. That is, the most important rule of all visa decisions in the non-immigrant categories. All decisions must be aligned with 214B, and so it is the most important part of the INA that relates directly to your visa application. To understand 214B better, let's read it. Every alien should be presumed to be an immigrant until he establishes to the satisfaction of the consular officer at the time of application for admission that he is entitled to non-immigrant status. Now let's understand what this means. In essence, this means that the visa officer taking your interview when you apply for a student visa to the US is allowed, or rather required, to think that you are actually an immigrant. This means that they will start the interview presuming or thinking that you are applying for a student visa simply to immigrate to the US, not just for your studies. Moving on, this provision states that the visa officer can only give you your student visa if they're convinced that your intention is only to study, not to immigrate. So, in sum, the most important parts of 214B are that the visa officer will think of you as an immigrant as the interview starts, and he can only give you a student visa if he or she is convinced that your intentions in applying for a student visa are only to study, not to immigrate. In other words, if they think that you will never return to your home country after finishing your studies, they will not give you a visa. The next question is, while implementing 214B, what considerations does the visa officer have? Firstly, there is intent. Remember, the student visa is a non-immigrant visa and only for the purpose of studies. The visa officer must be convinced that you are applying for a student visa to the USA only for the purpose of studies. Secondly, they will look very closely at your ability to succeed academically. This means that they will ask themselves whether you'll be a successful student once you're studying in an American university. Thirdly, they will look at means. By means, we here mean financial means. The main question is whether the visa applicant can afford the costs of studying in an American university. You must be able to convince the visa officer that your financial means are enough for you to be able to study in the United States without resorting to other means. Lastly, and most importantly, they will look at ties. Your ties in your home country are either familial ties, that is, ties to the people in your family, or professional ties, that is, ties to the people that you are working with, or, for that matter, property and financial ties. They must be convinced that your ties in your home country are enough to force you to come back after the completion of your studies. 214B is looked at in tandem with another law. This is 101A 15B of the INA. So, what is 101A 15B of the INA? 101, 101A 15B of the INA first states that every non-immigrant visa applicant must have a foreign residence, that is, a residence in your home country. Furthermore, 101A 15B also states that you must not have any intention to abandon your residence in your home country once you are in America. These two clauses are very closely linked. 214B is all about your intention to immigrate to America after your studies. 101A 15B is all about your intention to abandon your residence in your home country. So now, the most important question. What do you have to do to avoid the 214B trap? That is, what do you have to do to convince the visa officer? What do you have to do to convince the visa officer that you are not a potential immigrant and that you do not intend to abandon your residence in your home country? Firstly, in your DS 160 forms, there should be absolutely no indication that you do not want to return to your home country after your studies. Secondly, in your interview, you must not say anything that will give an indication to the visa officer that you have no intentions to return to your home country after your studies in the US finish. Most importantly, you must convince the visa officer that your intentions match your visa category. That means the visa officer must be convinced that you're going there only for your studies and that you intend to return to your home country after you finish your studies. The visa officer must also be convinced that you will be a successful student at an American university. In addition, the visa officer must also be convinced that you have the financial means to pay for everything and that you have strong ties in your country that will force you to return upon the completion of your course. Thanks for watching this video. For more insightful videos like this one about studying in the USA, like, share and subscribe. To get your IELTS, PTE, TOEFL, SAT, GRE, GMAT plans on track, or to get your study in the USA plans on track, register for a free counseling session or a demo class on www.studyunifees.io.